I believe that the takeaway from yesterday's action in football, other than my complete inability to wager effectively in the last 2 weeks, that's really not a national story, though.
That's not every week? That's just the last 2 weeks?
Look, I'm by and large a winner over the last 18 months of my gambling life. Not the last 2 weeks. Brutal. And I amped up the bets this week, feeling confident. Anyway, that's not the story of America. That's the story of Ben. The American story in football are the Denver Broncos. They moved to 4-3. They took the Saints apart in that game. A game I picked correctly here on Friday, but then I bet on the Saints. Because I was so shell-shocked by my previous behavior, I thought, oh, I'm going to go the opposite way. Always good thinking. You always feel good when you go the opposite and your original choice won. So the Broncos took care of that game. They won 34-14. They were up 34-7. They took a 7-0 lead after a 7-7 tie. They just dominated that game. The Saints, for the first time in as long as I can remember, looked like it wasn't that complicated to stop that offense. I mean, they looked bad. I don't know what Brees' final numbers were. Well, actually, I do.
22 of 42, 213 yards, 2 touchdowns and a pick.
He threw 20 incomplete passes. He looked bad. The Broncos looked so good. And here's what's interesting. We're essentially at the halfway point of the season. This week and next week, weeks 8 and 9, represent the halfway point of the NFL season. And the Broncos, over the last half of the season now, their final 9 games, they have the easiest schedule in football. And when you look then at what the Broncos have done prior to this, is they have lost tough games. They've lost tough games on the road.
And their 3 losses are against good opponents. At Atlanta, against Houston, at New England.
Yeah, they beat the Steelers. They lost in Atlanta by 6. They lost in Houston by 6. Sorry, they won that game was in Denver. They lost at New England. Like, they've been competitive on the road and lost to unquestionably good teams. They've also beaten some good teams. Beat the Chargers in San Diego. Just kidding. The Chargers aren't a good team.
7-6.
And they beat the
7-6.
That team. Phillip Rivers looks like a C- quarterback right now. So
didn't start him on your fantasy team.
The Broncos. No, I didn't. But that was a little accidental. But I'll take it. Although it didn't matter. So the Broncos are now 4-3 with a pretty easy road to go. They have the Bengals and Panthers on the road. They have the Chargers at home. They have the Chiefs on the road. They have the Buccaneers at home. They go to Oakland. They go to Baltimore. They end the year with Cleveland and Kansas City at home. Yeah, I don't need anybody to do the math and show me the other teams. There's no way that's not the easiest schedule in the NFL the rest of the way. That's a team that could easily go 7-2. I mean, they could go 9-0 for crying out loud with that schedule. They won't, because that's not what happens. But that team is going to win that division. I couldn't conceive of another team winning the AFC West at this point with that schedule. And Peyton Manning, unlike other quarterbacks who weren't with their clubs when the year, last season and for years, like, he took a while to get to know these receivers, and all of a sudden, like many fantasy players thought, Thomas and Decker looked like really B+ to A- NFL receivers.
Huge. They both had huge days. I mean, by the way, I'm trying to trade for Demaryius Thomas in our league, who's on Jenk's team.
Secret's out.
Because I believe that he's obviously having a huge year. He's going to still have a huge year.
So does Jack.
Obviously. Well, he has Decker and Demaryius Thomas. Well, here's the other thing. McGahee had a huge day. He had a huge day, and I thought that was a big part of why their offense was so good, was that McGahee was averaging 5 yards a carry.
But in this world of parity in the NFL, to see a team with that sort of well-rounded offensive performance, ran the ball with McGahee, what happened to No-Shaw Moreno, by the way? Who he? So to see the team run the ball that well with McGahee and throw the ball that well and dominate a really good offensive team defensively, and their kicker made all his kicks, so they must have good special teams. By the way, I signed Matt Prater in both my fantasy leagues right before kickoff because of the windy conditions in Atlanta, which caused me not to play Julio Jones or Matt Bryant.
Oh.
Oops. Idiot. But I got paranoid. It was like really horrible weather. All these fantasy sites were moving Vic and Matt Ryan down. Anyway, that was a disaster.